Good Saturday morning to y'all out there. Hope you're having a fantastic start to your weekend. I'm an hour late because I overslept and I thought that new intro was going to cover the whole screen and not just part of the screen, so that was a little bit weird. Welcome into another draft edition of the Barking Brown Show. I'm Jacob. That's Bill. We appreciate you all being out here, man. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Bill, how we doing, buddy?
I'm doing great, man. We're getting a little late start here, but you know what? It's fine because we still got a whole good weekend of college football, and it gives it gives ESPN and Disney and YouTube TV another hour to get their stuff figured out. I implore you channels to make it happen, but they're probably not going to. So we're gonna get through it, but we're doing something a little different today, man. We came up with this idea early in the week last week. We didn't want to do rankings. We didn't want to do previews because kind of everybody does that. We wanted to do what we call a prospect pickup. For folks that are big fans of fantasy football, it's kind of along that same fashion. And what we're going to do today is we're going to pick a team of our favorite draft prospects. We're going to pick one at every position all the way through. And then what we're going to do, we've also come up with some guidelines, and I'll let Jacob kind of cover those guidelines. And at the end, we're going to let you guys, the fans, vote on who did it better. So Jacob, walk the people through what the guidelines are.
Okay, so very simple. A simple concept. So we've got like you said, like Bill said, it's one at each position. So quarterback is this is the roster. We'll fill it out: quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end, offensive tackle, interior offensive line. So we're not breaking it up: safe, center versus guard, just one interior offensive line, edge, defensive tackle, linebacker, cornerback, safety. So 11-man teams. And the biggest thing is we want to get some more names out there than just the consensus. So each of us can only pick 3 in the consensus top 10, or I'm sorry, top 32. So first round, basically the consensus first round picks if it went that way. We could only get 3 in there, so we'll have to dig a little bit deeper once we get there. So a lot of there's a lot of strategy involved, like tiny little strategy, and give us a chance to give some maybe non-conventional names and that sort of thing. And then we're going to put up a poll. It'll either be tonight or it might end up being Monday. We'll put a poll up on our TikTok to vote for the winner. And I asked Bill, he had no idea what I was asking him this for. I said, last night it just popped into my head. I'm at work and I texted him. I said, is there a fruit or vegetable that you're repulsed by? Anybody that's followed this show for a long time knows that Casey is repulsed by tomatoes. I'm repulsed by onions, will not touch them. And Bill says, baby carrots, it's a texture thing, which is actually why I don't like onions. It's a texture thing for me. So that's what it is. The loser on next Saturday's live show will have to, in Bill's case, he'll have to eat a couple baby carrots. In my case, I'll have to eat a couple bites from a raw onion. Dude, I'm telling you, I thought it was a great idea when I got you to agree to it. I no longer think it's a good idea. So, we're gonna see how this goes. We're gonna snake draft this thing. Bill, do you want to go first, or do you want to go second and third?
I'll take second and third. I will let you have the floor for pick 101 in the prospect pick'em.
Okay. All right. So just a reminder to everybody, here is how we're going to do it. For some reason, this Excel spreadsheet looks incredibly weird on the shared screen, but looks normal on mine. So the positions are listed here. This first row is going to be Bill. Here is me. So we're going to go through this. So I'm going to pull up. I've got the consensus big board on a screen you can't see, just so that I can check. I'm going to check. I know who I want it. Yep. So I'm going to use out the gate. I decided last night, if Bill gave me the first pick, that I was going to be that dickhead. And I'm taking my number 1 corner. I'm taking Mansour Delane, the corner from LSU, so that I can snipe Bill so that he cannot have him. Mansour Delane is a guy that I'm going to do some weekly shorts on our TikTok and on YouTube, just highlighting some draft prospects each week. And I did my first one of those this week, and that's Mansour Delane. Size, speed, physical corner, athletic corner, doesn't panic, really smart. Like just checks about all of the boxes. So for pick 1-1, I got make sure. Yeah, that's how I thought you. So I thought you spelled his name. So for me, my first pick is going to be corner Mansour Delane out of LSU, and that will also put me down. He is the consensus 14th overall player on the consensus big board. So that takes me down to 2 on the consensus big board that I can use in the top 32 remaining. So it's over to you, Snake time. So you got picks 2 and 3.
I got 2 and 3. So for pick number 2, I'm going to burn one of my top 32 consensus boards because I've talked about it. This offensive tackle class is it's not the top tier class. And if I don't get my guy early, I'm not going to get a guy at all. So I am going to go with the number 12 overall prospect on the consensus big board, but my number 1 overall tackle, my number 4 overall player, a guy who I am very high on, is CC Maui Noah, the offensive tackle from Miami. Just an out and out excellent run blocker, just nasty as an offensive lineman. He's going to play right tackle in the NFL. And at worst, he fails and he's a right guard and an all pro right guard in the NFL, which checks that box for me.
You know, I don't remember who I was listening to this weekend, but I'm pretty sure it might have been Todd McShay. It was really funny. He was like, some people are going to say that he's going to have to kick into guard at the next level. And, but at worst, you're getting an all pro like guard. And it's like, oh no. Like, cause that's like how
right guard.
Oh no. What are we going to do? Hey, is just a question for the people that are watching, because on my screen, this it looks like my shared screen is blurry. Can everybody read that as I type those things on there?
I say I can read it. If the fans can read it, I think we're all good.
Okay. All right. I will get out of the way and let you do your next pick.
Yeah. I love Brian's comment, doing your best Barry impression by going corner with pick 1.
I actually literally was just doing it to be a dick to make sure you couldn't have him.
Yeah, because he was my pick. He was my pick 1. And yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to burn my second of 3 with a player that I think. See, this is fun. Because there's a couple ways I can go about this, but I have to do it. I know it's from the same school, but he is my number 1 overall prospect at edge, and he's just been an out-and-out monster. I'm going double down on the Hurricanes and give me Ruben Bain Jr. at edge to burn my second of 3 top 32 picks, and I'm just going to build this thing from the trenches out.
I have no problem with that. I'm like thinking about would I have taken him myself.
Mm-hmm.
I probably would have taken him in one of these next 2 picks, because that's where it gets interesting, right? Is like you're like, oh well, what are you going to prioritize? What direction are you going to go? And like I went over a ton of these situations when we decided early in the week to do this episode. I've gone around a ton of this, like, oh, if he does this, I'll do that. And if I, and it's so
yeah.
Sometimes you may end up burning them. You're like, I got to do it because I know he's going to. So for me, it's quite simple. It's quite simple for this first pick. I go with my number 1 quarterback and the consensus number 1 player, and that's Fernando Mendoza, the quarterback from Indiana. I know there's some people that aren't as high on him. as I am in the draft circle, but I like some people are like, I see it, but I don't see a superstar. I don't see, and I'm like, I do. I see a guy that is an elevator. I see a guy that's so smart and savvy and like Todd McShay. I love Todd McShay's podcast. And I was listening to their most recent one last night while I was at work, and he talked about John Mateer acts like he's doing everything in a panic, like it's a million miles an hour. And Fernando Mendoza is the exact opposite. He's in the pocket. I don't think obviously everybody when they're under pressure, their passer rating will go down, but I don't think he's that much different under pressure than he is when he's kept clean, in a sense of how relaxed he is. Like I think he is calm under pressure, calm under chaos. You've talked about it. I've talked about it. I think Matt Ryan is I think he's a little more athletic than Matt Ryan.
Yeah.
But like he's a Matt Ryan. That comp is perfect, and I'll continue that until the draft cycle is over, calling him Matt Ryan. But Fernando Mendoza's got the NFL arm, got the smarts, accuracy. He can layer throws, and if you decide that you're going to just leave a ton of green grass in front of you, he will go use his legs. Like he has no problem doing that. He's not a crazy athlete, but he's a good athlete. And that's just kind of how it, oh, sorry, hold on. I got to answer the door.
Wife dash.
It's wife dash.
Wife dash.
With my breakfast, my bacon and my eggs and my potatoes.
The Barking Brown Show, brought to you by Wife Dash.
Brought to you by Wife Dash. So anyway, Fernando Mendoza will be me. So I'm down to one consensus top 32 at this point. And I'm looking at this, and I'll tell you what, I don't want to burn it on wide receiver because I think this class is awesome. So I think I can get somebody outside of the first round. What am I concerned about? Yeah, I'm going to burn my last one. I have to do it this way because he's my number one tackle. Give me Spencer Fano, the right tackle from Utah. I had to do it.
Yeah. I don't blame you at all.
Because once you talked about it when talking about man, I can never say his name, but you talked about it on the other side about, hey, like the drop off at that position is so big. If for me, I can't not take my top tackle, because if I wait and don't take him, if I burn my last first round pick elsewhere, I don't know what I'm going to feel about who I can take and tackle. So that feels like a need. I know it's weird. It's not, I didn't have to worry about you taking him because you'd already taken your tackle. But at the same time, I'm like, yeah, I got to take Spencer Fano. This is just a nasty son of a bitch, right? Like he's just mean in your face, like road grader. Love him. I like him more as a run blocker than a pass protector. But that's not a knock on his pass protection. That's just who he is as a run blocker. But the Browns need like 17 offensive linemen. So Spencer Fano, Caleb Lomu, whatever, man. Like I just give me some offensive tackles early, and Fano's my top tackle. So I'm out of top 32 on the consensus board picks when it gets back to me. But that's okay, because I feel good about my start. I feel good about sniping Fernando Mendoza. But we'll see. So it's over to you, brother.
Yeah. So you made my life rough by using your 3 on that, because I have 1 left and I have 3 players that I think I could feasibly target here. And when I look at the 3 players, they're all in position groups that I think have some pretty noticeable gaps. And I'm going to narrow it down to 2 here. And I know this one's not going to be fun. It might be fun. But this guy, 20 years old, 214 pounds, 900 yards rushing, and 11 touchdowns. I am burning my final first round pick on my running back one by a clear margin in this class, Jeremiah Love, Notre Dame running back, just because I think while the running back class has improved, there are a lot of question marks beyond Jeremiah Love. And even when we started the season, Jacob, you and I talked about it, there were questions about Jeremiah Love after that Miami game. So what were we going to see? And I think we've seen a lot from him, especially, when you look at the analytics, it'll show you this is a guy in terms of ranked running backs with 100 or more attempts, 1.8 yards per route run. So not only is he a good running back, he's also a good pass catcher. And I think for my team that I'm building here, that's what I'm going to want to burn that third pick on. Oh, you're
sorry, I
muted.
eating bacon. But I'm eating myself as I was eating my bacon. But yeah, man, I get it. This running back class is kind of weird to me. But Jeremiah Love's special. Like, yeah. I think he's just a special prospect. Like, if he's in the open field, if you give him an avenue to get into the open field and put the barn burners on, put that after, it's like, playing Mario Kart, and when you got the little jetpack to speed up,
mushroom,
the mushroom, or when you can turn into the giant bomb and go just pow, like that's him, man. He gets into the open field, he hits that turbo button, and he's just.
He's gone. And I'm glad you mentioned that he just flies, because my second pick is another player that just absolutely flies, has been an otherworldly weapon in the SEC so far this season, because you watch him as a pass catcher, you watch him as a punt returner, you watch him do some serious damage, and he is ranked at 43rd on the consensus big board, which I think is too low. He's my wide receiver one. It's KC Concepcion from Texas A&M. And now I have an offense that has Maui Goa as an offensive lineman, and then two true speedster weapons in Jeremiah Love and KC Concepcion. Yeah, good luck keeping up with that. Just have fun keeping up with that.
I'm going to put the big board. Here's the problem. My ability is not great sometimes.
It's fine.
And
it's fine. We're having fun. We're going to do it live.
Learning how to spell. See, I like your strategy here. This is and I think this also speaks to the wide receiver class, which is part of why we wanted to do the exercise the way we are, with only having the ability to take three of these guys that are consensus, like first round picks, so to speak, rather their first round grade or not.
Mm-hmm.
But KC Concepcion, you can easily tell me, is a top 32 talent in my mind. Yeah. And I think he gets pushed down the board because like when we do ranking shows and stuff, like when we did our ranking wide receiver episode here on the channel, if you guys want to go back and see that from a couple of weeks ago, although I've already made changes to mine because Carnell Tate decided he wanted to let us all know he's actually that dude. It's like, I'm not knocking on KC Concepcion where I got him ranked, because it's not a knock against him. Why is he down low outside of your top five? Because I just think these other five guys are really, really good. Not that it's one of those situations with him. All right, I got back to back, and I'm thinking I can wait on wide receiver, like I just said. I think I can wait on wide receiver. Out of the consensus top 10 or top 32 picks. Oh, that'd be a good pick. I've done my offensive lineman. I might look in interior. Edge is interesting here. Yeah. Where's my guy at? Where is he? Is he in the? I bet you he's at the top. He's at 25th. I was going to go Cassius Howell, the edge rusher from Texas A&M,
Ooh.
but he is in the consensus top 32. So I just missed out on him. That's I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do it.
Uh-oh.
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna look at edge here, and I'm gonna go R. Mason Thomas from
Ooh.
Oklahoma as my edge rusher here. This is not, we talked about it last week. This is a guy that's more of a pass rusher than he is a run defender right now, and that's kind of how this whole class goes, so to speak. But he's just, there's something about that get off. There's something about him dribbling a dude's head off the ground on a touchdown, a scoop and score where he pulled his hamstring at one point and then he just like was holding his leg and continued to score a touchdown. I think he, needs to fill out a little bit and improve as a run defender, but he's just a great pass rusher right now. And I think before I get too far in the weeds, that I'm going to take R. Mason Thomas here. Anyway, that's how we're going. Brian asks, what team are we picking for? We're not necessarily picking this for the Browns. We're just trying to make the best team we can.
Yeah, this is like the fantasy football world where you're trying to get the best. The way you should look at it is if you needed to start a team with one player at each position, one prospect at each position, this is the players that you'd want to start with, that I'd want to start with if I'd want to build a franchise out. So not necessarily that we're picking for the Browns or we're picking for Indianapolis or we're picking for somebody. This is, hey, Jacob just took ownership of the 33rd team in the NFL, and I took ownership of the 34th team in the NFL, and that's how we're building out these rosters.
Yeah, and I'm waiting on wide receiver just because I think it's such a deep class. So I'm kind of looking at this like, okay, what do I want to do? How do I want to do this first? I think I'm going to do this because I don't want to miss out on this guy because this class is a little bit weaker. I'm going to take Max Clare, the tight end from Ohio State here. And some people are going to say that in terms of production, it hasn't quite been there for Max Clare this year after it was there for Purdue. But I would like to remind you of a few things. Jeremiah Smith and Carnell Tate, but it seems like when you forget about Max Clare, he'll make a big play. All of a sudden, Ohio State will go to him. And, Julian Sayin in that passing offense, they started the year where they were very conservative and things like that. So the numbers don't really pop for Max Clare this year because he's just kind of been buried it's like Carnell Tate last year in terms of like stats and stuff, where it was like he was the third or fourth option last year, and that's kind of where Max Clare is this year at Ohio State. But he's a really good athlete. Love his route running. I think he's a better blocker than he gets credit for. And it's like if you need a big catch in a big moment, you feel comfortable about going to Max Clare. And this tight end class is very wishy-washy. I'm not really super high on it. So I'm going to get my favorite tight end before you have a chance to get it. So I'll take Max Clare from Ohio State.
It's fair. It's fair. I'm with you. I'm a little lower on this tight end class as a whole. There's a couple of guys at the top of it that you could convince yourself could be that guy. But obviously with both of us having burned our 3 top 32 consensus picks, Kenyan Sadiq is off the table for both of us. He sits at 21 on the consensus board. I'm now going to go a little bit off the beaten path here. And I'm going to go with a guy that I want to make sure that I get before you do. And the reason I want to make sure I get him before you do is coming into this season, I had this guy as a day 3 prospect. I was not sold on him in any way, shape, or form. And all he's done is told me to go pound sand as a heart of a Big 12 defense. I'm going linebacker Jacob Rodriguez from Texas Tech as the middle of my defense. Just because you watched him, he has right now, you watch him in every game, he is consistently making plays for that Texas Tech defense. This guy has a 96.1 run defense grade from PFF. Let me run that back. 96.1. You watch him, he is everywhere and anywhere all over that field. And on my roster, he's going to have Ruben Bain at edge in front of him. Just absolutely filthy work at linebacker.
Yep. I love him. I think he's fantastic. That defense is that defense is nasty, and he's the heart and soul of it.
100%. So now this is where it gets fun, because I don't know if you noticed, but I didn't take a quarterback with one of my 3 top 32. So, but you already have your quarterback, so I'm kind of safe a little bit. And when I say I'm kind of safe a little bit, I'm gonna again go off the beaten path again, because I notice you don't have a guy on your back end of your defense. I'm gonna get mine. This guy, smaller school prospect, isn't getting the love that he should, but you will hear me scream his praises all day long and 3 times over on Sunday. Right now, PFF has him with a 90 coverage grade, an 89 run defense grade. You watch him come slam down in the box. He creates and makes opportunities for his linebackers and makes tackles. This is Toledo safety Emmanuel McNeil Warren on the back end of my defense. And let me just say this right now, folks. I'm cooking here, because at my 3 levels of defense, I've got Ruben Bain at edge. I've got Jacob Rodriguez at linebacker. And then I've got Emmanuel McNeil Warren at safety. Like, that's 3 pillars of a defense that you could get in rounds 1, 3, and 4, or even rounds 1, 2, and 3, because I think Emmanuel McNeil Warren is a 33rd overall prospect on my board. So that's rounds 1, 2, and 3 that completely overhauls your defense.
Yeah, man, okay. Yeah, I like him a ton. I'm glad you didn't go the guy I was hoping you would avoid, and so I'm very happy with that. So now I'm gonna go and I'm gonna look at a couple of these positions. There's only a couple of positions we both haven't gone yet. Neither one of us have an interior offensive lineman or a defensive tackle. Defensive tackle class is really interesting. To go up here.
And while you're taking a look at that, just so the folks know, we are using NFL mock draft databases consensus, where we're only allowed to pick 3 players from the top 32 in that consensus. Defensive tackle, for example, like Jacob talked about, since we both used our 3, Peter Woods is off the board here. So there will be no Peter Woods conversation in this one.
I could be called a homer if I do it this way. Give me Caden McDonald, the defensive tackle from Ohio State.
Wow.
I don't know. I don't know if that's something that's.
If you told me he's a pure run defender, I could get on board with it. But I just, like, do you have any concerns about him just having like minimal pass rush at best at the next level?
Yeah, I do. But he kind of reminds me of the way I felt about Tyleik Williams last year. I'm not saying he's as dominant as Tyleik was, but I look at him and I say, in this situation, we're outside the first round, obviously, because of the way we set this up.
Yeah.
I think it's there though. Like, I think the juice is there. He's got the juice to be a pass rusher. It's a move where we keep talking about how amazing this defense is for Ohio State, and the 2 Cadens, you know, the Caden McDonald being the interior guy. I can't think of the other Caden's last name.
Caden Curry.
Caden Curry as the pass rusher with Kenyatta Jackson. It's like, you're not running it up the middle on Ohio State. Like, it reminds me of Mason Graham. I'm not putting him on Mason Graham's level, but it just reminds me of, like, you got to kind of rethink some of your strategies when you talk about running the football because of a guy like Caden McDonald. And that to me is a good pick. And I don't know if you were going to go that route because I don't know when you plan on ending up taking a defensive tackle. But I'm good in a sense where my defensive tackle, I don't know, call me old school. I'm more concerned about them playing the run. When it comes to rushing the passer, I'm using my defensive ends. I'm using a blitzer and things like that. And so he needs to develop, but I think he's got the athletic traits and ability to be a halfway decent rusher with some time. Other position, interior offensive line. I'm going to go interior offensive line here because I'm going to try to make sure I get my guy before you get yours, just in case they're the same. I want so bad to just be like, I'm going to take Jennings Dunker, but actually I think he's in the top 10.
No, he is. I don't think he's in. I think he's 33rd, 37th. So he is in play here.
But he plays tackle, so I'm not.
I was going to tell you this. If you wanted to do that, because I almost did it with Caden Proctor with one of my top 32, because he's ranked as 17th in the consensus. So I almost had Maui Noah and Proctor on my right side. So I'm all for that because that's what I think should happen at the NFL level.
I'm going to do it. I'm going to take Jennings Dunker, who plays right tackle at Iowa. He's like a stereotypical Iowa offensive lineman. I think he needs this. There's some length issues and some how he handles speed and stuff like that are going to have him convert inside to. That's why I think he gets moved ultimately to guard. But man, can you imagine a right side of Spencer Fano and Jennings Dunker? You could just run the ball 30 times to the right side only. Like again, they're the same. They're cut from the same cloth. Mean, nasty, in your face, powerful, good movers. Like I think that would reshape anybody's offensive line on the right side and make you just a fantastic running to the right side team. You'd be like, you remember. There were a lot of times with the Browns in like 2020 and stuff where you're like, yep, they're definitely running the ball, but their offensive line was just so good at it. It just didn't matter that you knew. That's what this right side of my offensive line is with Jennings Dunker and Spencer Fano.
Man, I don't know how I'm going to top that, but I'm going to do it. So I'm going to go. Your right side of your offensive line is fortified. My defensive line is about to become a literal nightmare because I went Ruben Bain with my first pick, right? My second pick, I'm going to go with a guy who is 330 pounds with a documented 36-inch vertical, has hit 21 miles an hour on GPS tracking, very violent at the point of attack, and has walked back guards and centers into the backfield, but also has very nimble feet. Currently ranked at, let's see, I guess I should have checked that to make sure, but I'm pretty sure. Currently ranked as 36th on the consensus big board. I'm going Amari Washington, the Oregon defensive tackle, next to Ruben Bain, because you watch him, he's very effective in run defense. He's still developing as a pass rusher. He's still developing as his pass rush plan in total. But if we're talking about a guy who you want to stop the run, just like you had with Caden McDonald, but also has the athletic ceiling to be a pass rusher, I mean, I'm taking that all day long.
I just learned that Zeke says Judy is a ball bag. Apparently it means scrotum.
Oh, solid. Solid. See, we're worldwide. We're worldwide here at the Barking Browns Draft Edition. We go coast to coast, but then we also just circle the globe, and you learn new things. So make sure you're always coming in here Saturday at 10 a.m. Eastern, tuning in for the Barking Browns Draft Edition, presented by Wife Dash.
Yes. I'm still eating my Wife Dash.
presented by Wife Dash. So now comes the fun question. Like, how much longer do I punt on quarterback? Like, do I continue to just kick this can down the road like I think the Browns will actually do? Or do I go quarterback here? And I don't have to worry about it because you already have your guy. And we already have positions where we've taken an overlap to each other.
Yeah, we're pretty good. You can't get sniped, but it also is going to be like, what are you prioritizing?
Exactly. So I'm going to go with a guy who got a lot of love last year. A lot of love. And then ended up going back to school, partially because of his injury, partially because he just wasn't ready. He's a little bit on the lighter side of things on the interior offensive line. But I think he's one of the more underrated centers of this class.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going Parker Brailsford from Alabama as my center. And now I've got Maui Noah on the right side. I've got Brailsford at center. I have to find a left tackle in free agency with my brand new team. I think I can do that. Or I just come back to next year's class and get a left tackle there. But now I have the center and the right side of my offensive line set.
He's one of those guys where it's like, I'd like to see you be a little bit more of a people mover in the run game. And, because it was the athleticism was always there for him last year. I was like, could he add a little bit more power and be a little bit more effective in the run game? And he went back to school and did exactly that. Okay. Is it to me now?
Yeah, it's you because I had Mari Washington and Brailsford.
Yeah, Mari Washington. I just couldn't remember. Okay, so let's see. Let's look at some running backs where we might want to go. Oh, I just realized that guy's outside of the top 32.
Oh no.
Yeah, brother. I'm not getting off of his train. I am not getting off the Chris Brazzell train.
Man,
I
can't quit Chris Brazzell, but I still got to see him catch a pass on the left side. Like, I got to see it.
Dude, I'm telling you, when I watch, is there 2 E's at the end of Tennessee? There is.
Yes.
In case people are wondering, I know this is a thing. How some people can't spell certain words. Tennessee is a word I can't spell. I have to check it like 15 times when I'm trying to, put it, in articles or whatever I'm doing. Cause I'm like, if there's multiple N's and multiple E's and S's, and I'm like, I try to, so before the double S, I always try to put a double E, and I know that's not right, but I fucking do it every single time. Listen, Chris Brazzell, size, speed guy. You should not be able to be that big and move that fast. That is my scouting report. that is my scouting report on the Tennessee wide receiver. But let me tell you this, man. When I'm watching Tennessee live, especially, I have a text typed up to you every Saturday that says he caught one on the left side, and I'm just ready to hit that send button, and it just doesn't fucking happen. It's the weird.
It never comes.
Because there's no reason why he can't. It just for some reason doesn't happen. You're just like, I don't really know. So, okay. So I have running back, linebacker, and safety left. Obviously, I can't be sniped for anything because you've already made picks on all of those positions. Yes. But I'm going to do it because I love this guy. I'm going to take Kamari Ramsey from USC, the safety from USC. He's kind of he was a guy you and I talked about last draft cycle, similar to, as you said with Parker Brailsford, where you were like, there's a lot of love for him, but he went back to school. I feel the same thing about Kamari Ramsey. And kind of as a Swiss Army knife, they moved him around a lot. He played primarily like deep and in the box, but he did play like 164 slot snaps last year. but predominantly 226 slot snaps this year and less than 100 in the box and deep. So they've kind of moved him down more as a slot defender. Not that he can't do those other things, because like I said, he did those other things more. He's already outsnapped his slot snaps from last year by 60. Like he's already got like 60 more slot snaps than he did in 11 games last year, and he's only played 7 games this year. So he may end up being more of a slot defender at the next level, but like a Grant Delpit type, man. That's what I see when I see Kamari Ramsey, just kind of like a Swiss Army knife. Let's move him all over the field and have some fun. So yeah, give me the versatile safety Kamari Ramsey from USC. And you are now down to you've got 3 spots left. So it's going to go to you for double, then me for my last 2, and then you'll finish it up.
Yeah. So I love it when a plan comes together. Yeah. Because when I put this together today, I didn't think I was going to have a chance to get either of these guys, because I figured you would snipe them. But my first one is a guy who 6'4", about 235 pounds, a little light for the tight end position. But we said the same thing last year about Harold Fannin Jr., and it's worked out pretty effectively.
Dude, Harold Fannin, we said, man, add some more strength, and he's like, bet.
Yeah, and he's like, bet, got it. This guy is that same mold, but I argue is a better pass catcher than he was. I argue that this guy is a better tight end prospect than he was in terms of what you're going to see from him from the tight end spot. Just because when you look at this guy, let me pull up the report here while I vamp for time. When you look at this guy and you watch him play, he's a true vertical threat. He's been clocked at 21.4 miles an hour on GPS. Also has a 39-inch vertical. So again, now I have an offense of Jeremiah Love, of Casey Concepcion, and on the offensive line, CeCe Mauigoa and Parker Brailsford. Give me the safety blanket, who's just a true vertical demon that I think is very close to Trey McBride in terms of a comp. I'm going Eli Stowers, tight end from Vanderbilt here, as my safety blanket for my new quarterback.
Oh man.
Now I can hear the comments screaming. Bill, where's the quarterback? Bill, where's the quarterback? How are you going to quarterback this team? Well, comments. What if I told you there's a quarterback who right now could probably be had in the 3rd round, who so far this season on passes 20 yards or deeper has thrown for 920 yards and 5 touchdowns with only 1 interception? And if I told you this quarterback was 6'4" and 230 pounds, and so far this season he has 18 big-time throws per PFF, and has also been doing all of this while his receivers, while talented, have had 11 drops this season. Give me USC Trojan signal caller Jaden Mayava with his beautiful deep ball to coordinate my offense of Jeremiah Love, Casey Concepcion, and Eli Stowers. Dude, I'm running 4 verts. That's my play call. Is just 4 verts. Everybody go. Jaden's like, F it. They're down there somewhere.
That's fair. He had a rough week last week, so like I'm a little hesitant, but overall I've been on the Jaden Mayava train, so I'm not gonna knock you on that. All right. Running back and linebacker for me to finish it up. Yeah. Okay. He's hurt now, but give me Justice Haynes.
Oh, I was wondering if you were going to go that.
The running back from Michigan. We talk about the explosive speed from Jeremiah Love. While I don't think he's all the way at Jeremiah Love's level, and that's why he's out, a little bit further down, Justice Haynes is just a sliver of daylight and go kind of guy. And this year has really impressed me with some of his power runs too between the tackles. So give me the Michigan running back there. Now I'm going to finish it off with a linebacker, and I don't like this linebacker class. The hybrid guys at the top, like, your Arvell Reese, your Sonny Styles, like those guys you're like, yeah, I feel great about them. That reminds me. Let me see if I can be sneaky. No, Sonny Styles is at 26 on the consensus board. Was wondering if I could sneak him in there, because some people are a little bit wishy-washy on him. I don't like. I could say Jayshon Barham, but like I think he's more of a stand-up DPR. Goodness, I do not like this class.
We've talked about that. Like, I don't have a single first-round grade on any linebacker in this class, and I know people are like, Bill, what about Arvell Reese? Arvell Reese is a linebacker the way that Abdul Carter was a linebacker, and the way that Micah Parsons was a linebacker, is that you are going to probably end up converting him to full-time edge rusher, and that's where I consider him, because he is very great north and south, but east to west leaves a little bit to be desired, especially in coverage for me. And obviously with Arvell Reese, he's in the top 32 in consensus. Me and Jacob already have burned our picks in that spot. So that's where kind of I feel about it. But I'm not high on this linebacker class as a whole.
Yeah, Arvell Reese is really interesting because, like, to me, it's like he's a bunch of things. And I don't know if linebacker is what you would consider him first. Let me check one thing, because I guess I could go this route. But he's a guy that coming into the year I wasn't super high on, but let me see what he's done lately. That's it. That's fine. Give me Anthony Hill Jr., the linebacker from Texas.
Yep.
A little inconsistent. Little inconsistent sometimes in coverage, but overall has had a pretty solid year. So he's just outside the consensus top 32. So I'll go slide in there to steal that, and that'll wrap up my team. So Bill, to the final pick is yours as we wrap up this Saturday show and get ready for some college football.
Yeah, so what's really wild is that you kicked us off with going corner, and I've left corner for the last pick, and I think it's because once you get past the Mansour Delanes of the world, a lot of these guys grade out very similarly. But I'm going to go with a guy who is just absolutely nasty when it comes to mirror and match footwork in man coverage. A guy who has a way of manipulating leverage that's just so far advanced, despite his size being a little undersized at 6'190", runs a 4.46 that, might be a little bit slower. But what's really cool about this guy is that he also was a national level speed roller skater and set a national record for the 300 meter for 13-year-olds. For my corner to round out my defense, give me Arizona State corner Keith Abney to finish off this defense that now has on the back end Emmanuel McNeil-Warren, Keith Abney, and then, oh, by the way, you got Jacob Rodriguez in front of you there. I'm happy as a clam if I can get him outside of the first round. Maybe if I could get him at the second round, maybe third round, just because obviously there's concerns about his size and his hips are a little bit stiffer, especially in a back pedal. But man, you want to talk about just a true dude at corner. Keith Abney is a dude.
Yeah, he's a lot of fun. So there you go. There it is. There's our draft pick'ems. Make sure you're following us on TikTok at @the_barking_Browns. I will put up a poll probably. It might end up being on Monday, but I'll put up a poll with this, and you can cast your vote on which team you like the better. So keep your eyes out on that to decide who gets punished. But that's it for us. So we appreciate you guys so much. So it's time to kick off some college football. So I hope you guys enjoy. We'll be back with you Monday to wrap up this week's college football action, which we'll record later tonight. So there's a lot of really fun games on tonight. So today. So hope you guys enjoy your Saturday. We love you. We'll see you guys again next time. As always, go Browns.
Go Browns.